Test.
Hello.
Let me turn you up a little bit. Go for it.
Hi, hello, test.
Ooh, hello. Hi, everybody.
What's up?
This is another fantastic episode of Trek in the Valley. Well, I guess I say fantastic. We have to record it. We'll see how it goes. But
Yes.
we're excited. We're talking
there.
about a fantastic episode of Star Trek, the original series today, as we do every week here on Trek in the Valley. We talk about an episode of Star Trek, the original series, and we live in the valley of the San Fernandos, where they made Encino Man. And my name is, that's what everybody knows it from. It's so funny.
Yeah, Encino Man.
Encino Man, and because they make fun of the valley on Clueless.
Yes.
I am Adam Ordall Quinnell, one of your intrepid hosts today, and I'm here with my co-host as always.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Al Hirt here.
Mr. Al Hirt,
How's it going?
Our manager of the compendium. Fine. I paid my taxes today. That sucks.
That's good.
It's good and it sucks. I don't know how I have to pay taxes when I feel like I'm a poor person.
Right.
But I think I've got something that I didn't check right on my tax stuff.
That's how it always goes. They try to confuse you.
Yeah, that's one of the many how they get yous out there. How are you doing, man?
Good, actually. I was just looking over my taxes too recently, so I have to almost get those done.
Yeah, you got 3 days.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, or file an extension. Yeah,
that's the extension.
That's a Sunday-ass thing. Honestly, I had earmarked it for tomorrow, but I was like, fuck it. I would rather just not have to worry about anything for the rest of the weekend, so I took care of it.
Nice.
Taxes are bullshit anyway.
Yeah, it's rough. You have to keep track of it all.
So last week, well, it's funny because this is like the second year where I haven't made any money really doing entertainment stuff because of the pandemic still, which is still happening in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not going to get into it politically, but shit sucks. And so it was really easy to do our taxes this year, but it just got to pay a little bit of money because we live in fucking California and that's how they get you. But also we have rent control. So what are you going to do?
Sure.
Last week we talked about an episode called The Alternative Factor.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember what that was about?
It was the guy with the tunnel, right? And he had like his alternate self that was fighting himself.
Yes.
And he was the ending was so dark. How he was like Kirk met the other guy, right? The other alternative guys, and he was all nice. Yeah, and he goes, as soon as I open this, just shoot my spaceship and it'll close a portal. And he's like, wait, but it'll blow your stuff too.
That's right.
He just leaves them perpetually fighting, in a hallway. Forever. Oh yeah, we compared it to like
What If? The end of
Yeah, the What If. Yeah, exactly.
And I think about a billion other things.
Oh, of course.
I feel like there's some mythological story of two people who are constantly fighting that I can't quite put my finger on.
It's also like when the guy with the boulder, the Greek legend, where it's like the boulder goes down. Sisyphus. Yeah, one of those.
Sisyphus did the boulder. Prometheus was had his liver being eaten by an eagle. Mm-hmm. And Tantalus was like he's up to water, up to his neck in water, but he's really thirsty and he can't drink, and he's really hungry, and there's grapes hanging right over his nose, and he can't eat them. Yeah, the gods were dicks.
Oh yeah.
Which we find out
perpetual torture
when we meet Q in the pilot episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So last week we talked about the alternative factor. Fantastic recap.
Yeah,
excellent
I know.
Memory. Good job. You nailed it. And this week we're talking about the city at the edge of forever.
I like that title. It was really clever.
Fantastic.
Once you get to why it happens.
The city at the edge of forever is weird. It's weird that it's forever, and we'll talk about that.
And they go into the past.
Yeah, they don't really cover the forever of it.
Yeah.
And but there is time travel in this episode. This episode aired, speaking of time travel, excellent segue. This episode, good job, Adam. This episode aired on April 5th, 1967, which is very close to the day we're recording it, April 15th, 2023. Yeah, 150 years between the two. I'm not going to do the math. I refuse. And we always love to read. Well, I love to read.
The Chekhov?
Well, we'll get there, but your head's in the right place. I always love to read, and I know he always loves to hear synopsis from Paramount Plus, because the Paramount Plus synopsis writers, if you ever listen to this podcast, I mean no disrespect. I love your work. You're fucking fantastic. Please be the first guest on our podcast when we start doing guests. The synopsis from Paramount Plus is Kirk and Spock go back in time to save McCoy and their own universe.
Bum, bum, bum.
It was funny because when we were watching this, Al said, "Oh, this is kind of like that episode of
Deep
Space Nine where Cisco goes back in time." And I was like, it's not really like that, because I thought you meant the episode where Cisco goes back in time and becomes the sci-fi writer.
Yeah.
And they basically imply that all of the Star Trek universe is actually just inside this sci-fi writer's head. And that's how it ends, implying that. Mm-hmm. And they don't go back to it. But you were talking about the episode where
riots.
He becomes Mr. Bell.
Yeah.
They do the riots.
And he just incidentally is like, we should do something about this.
It's funny.
And then he goes, whoops.
Because that's a prefiguration of like all of the March on Wall Street and all of that shit, all the riots. Income inequality riots. Star Trek, seriously, ahead of its time, always.
Of course.
But in this episode, like I said, Kirk and Spock go back in time to save McCoy in their own universe.
Right.
And as for the Chekhov check-in...
Bing, bing, bing.
3 episodes.
Really?
Holy shit, right?
We're almost there.
It's going to be it'll be 3 weeks for you, the audience, and then however long of a break we take between seasons for retooling. Mm-hmm. We keep saying that we're going to talk about what we're going to do next season, and then we end up getting baked.
Yeah, we gotta reduce.
We'll put our nose to the grindstone so that our listener out there gets a quality season 2. But we are close to the end of season 1, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
this is
coming along now.
This is the 27th episode of this podcast. Of Trek in the Valley, yes, and it's the 28th episode of the original series. And it starts with some turbulent ass juice happening on the deck of the Enterprise.
It's a nice change, because at the beginning of the show we saw how the camera, they were just shaking it left to right, with them going through turbulent space. Yep. But now at this time, they're kind of like diving and doing sideways angles, and they're just trying to be a little more creative and alive with the camera. And now it's like brighter, the suits look better, everything just looks revamped, I guess.
It also looks like they have better, they're learning their shaky ship choreography better.
Yeah, it seems a little more coordinated.
So basically, the Enterprise, if you haven't listened to the show, we're going to do a synopsis for about 40 minutes, and then we're going to talk about what we thought about the episode, and then we're just going to recommend some random shit that we like to you, and that's the whole fucking show. Can you believe it that's the show?
Show.
What a good show. And
very straightforward.
Another good show, Star Trek, the original series.
So anyways, they're going through space.
They're going through space. It's shaken because they are surveying a planet that is experiencing a time anomaly.
So it's like shifting time.
Yep. They're going through these time waves.
Cut through them.
They say there's shaky controls. The controls are sluggish. Engines are taxed. And then there's a weird explosion, like a blue explosion that knocks Sulu out.
Yeah.
And then Bones gives Sulu
the way the board
risky
just lights
shot.
up too.
Yes, the board just everything pops, snap, crackle, pops. Like, Sulu does some fantastic acting.
Yes, he does.
Good job, George Takei.
Oh, and what is it? So then Bones comes on board or on the bridge. And then he whips out the, what is it? Cordrazine.
Cordrazine. This is
really risky.
Remember that name. Well, he doesn't say it's risky.
Risky.
Kirk.
Kirk does.
So he's like, I'm going to give him a shot of Cordrazine.
He's like,
Kirk.
Are you sure you want to do that?
And then he gives him a big old shot of Cordrazine.
And next second.
not only does Sulu wake up, but he wakes up refreshed.
Oh yeah,
like the look on his face. The look on his face, he's like, I'm fucking ripped.
That reminds me of when he had the same face in the episode where it was like Alice in Wonderland and he was playing with a gun.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Face. Yeah.
They were like, do the
just
Alice.
Happy go lucky.
Do the Alice in Wonderland face. And so they wake Sulu up.
And Bones is like, you were gonna make a medical comment, Kirk?
Yes. There's a lot of catty bitchiness that I love in this episode. From the alien anomaly they meet soon is another good source of that. That they ribs with Spock a lot. But this is when the other inciting incident of the whole plot happens, because after Bones gives him that shot. They go through more time-space turbulence. Bones falls forward. And
as he falls forward,
he shoots himself in the tummy with all of the cortisone. So he immediately starts to get fucked up, and he basically took 100 times the dose that they just gave Sulu to wake him up. Like
adrenaline, isn't it?
Yep. Well, basically, yeah. And Spock says 2 drops of cortisone can save a man's life, but Bones took 100 times that by mistake. Been there, am I right? So basically, Bones is on PCP now for the rest of the episode.
His eyes expand.
He's got splotchy skin. He's
stressed and sweaty. It's like a sweaty, cold calmness.
I really like DeForest Kelly's...
Clammy. He's very clammy.
And the HD remastering really brings out the clamminess of his skin. And so what happens is he goes nuts and he escapes. He transports himself down to the planet. Basically, Bones is turned into like 2010 era Charlie Sheen. And he really... he's very much out of it, but this is some of the best DeForest Kelly acting. Like, I really like when he's like on Spores a few episodes ago and he's like, I'm just a simple country doctor.
Yeah, right.
I love that shit. And then I love him being completely jacked out of his mind on future adrenochrome.
He's screaming like murderers, assassins, get away from me, killers.
So he's super paranoid. And people, he's like running around the ship. And one of this drug is the absolute worst drug, because one of the side effects is people on this drug don't recognize their acquaintances. That's what he says. That's what Spock says. So people on this drug don't recognize their, again, been
he's
there.
He's just lost.
So he's out of his mind, and he beams down to this, for some reason, to the center of the time distortion. He bonks a fucking transporter chief. And then the crew beams down to follow him. Spock, who's on the away team? It's Spock. It's Kirk. It's
Scotty, and then
Uhura, yes.
But then there's another red shirt, but I don't know.
And then a red shirt, a rando.
Yes.
Basically, they get down there, and then Kirk tells them to start recording, and they start recording with their tricorders, and that's going to be really important later. So I had a little plus next to that.
Gotcha.
And this is where you said that the set that they beamed down to looks like Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, because I just saw the little crater.
And so there's a big stone arch that looks like a gate, right? It looks like a big like misshapen donut, or a fritter with a hole. It looks like an apple fritter with a hole in the middle, laying on its side, and it's huge, right?
I was thinking of one of those like stone gates from Minecraft too that you build.
Yes, or you said Bikini Bottom, the bottom of a fish bowl, like something a fish would swim through.
Coral.
Yes, or like where you'd find like a treasure chest that's got like bubbles that shoot out.
Right. But it just seems something like bizarre like that until, obviously it lights up.
Yes, and then
that's the coolest part.
It lights up, and the effect is great. And this remastered, I know this podcast sometimes sounds like an ad for the remastered Star Trek: The Original Series, but it looks so fucking good. The effect just pops out. The lights that light up just jump right off the screen.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely love it. So Spock and Kirk are going to examine this big arch, and then the rest of the crew goes around and looks for Bones. There's a really funny cat and mouse moment where Bones is like hiding from Scotty. And then at this point, the arch comes to life. The arch says something. It says, "I've been waiting for a question." And that's when we find out that this arch is the guardian of forever. And it gives Spock a lot of shit. The arch says, "I am the guardian of forever, both machine and being and neither. I am my own beginning, my own ending." And Spock says, "You don't have to talk in riddles." And the arch is like, "I'm explaining it to you in a way that your dumbass brain will understand." And at this point, it shows Bones hiding from Scotty. That's a great moment. Basically, Spock... So the portal starts showing them a bunch of like stock footage from old-timey Earth.
He goes, "Behold, a gateway to your past, if you wish. To your own past, if you wish."
Yep. And so they're watching. And so then Kirk has this, basically, Spock puts it together that, hey, this might be a time portal. Good on you, Spock.
Yeah, right. Finally, idiot. At the end of it, they're like, whoa.
And Kirk has this idea, and this is, I want to talk about this a little bit. So Kirk's idea is, hey... Because Bones comes out and they grab him and Spock puts the pinch on him and he knocks him out, right? And Kirk wants to go back in time to before Bones accidentally shot himself in the tum-tum with the hypo. And what I would say is, why don't they just bring him back to the ship and treat him? Because, spoiler alert, he goes back in time.
Yeah.
Bones ends up surviving the episode. And really all he needs to do is sleep on a cot for a day. And so why the fuck didn't they just bring him back to the ship? Why does Kirk go, we're going to go back in time?
He had to sleep on a cot during the Depression era.
During the Depression.
Some cigarettes.
Yeah, that's specifically what he needed to experience, that Depression era dusty air. It's so dusty. And so then Bones wakes up, still high as shit on the shot.
Oh, I love this scene, though.
And then he jumps through the circle.
They're all looking at the portal, though, and then all of a sudden you see Bones in the corner of your eye, and he just like,
gets up and just charges through, and then he disappears through the portal. It's an amazing smoky effect, right? And then they're like, fuck, yes. They got to figure out what to do.
Oh, and so then their logic was like, yeah, we'll jump in, right before he gets hurt.
Well, so
we'll be fine.
So
and
they
then
have
he jumps
to,
in, right?
They have to ask the circle, hey, we need you to. So the circle, the arch, I'm going to call it,
right? The arch,
the guardian of forever. It's playing human history on a loop, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's going really fucking fast. And Spock, their tricorders are recording the history, right? So Spock can pinpoint about when in the loop Bones beam back, and they want to go back, like you said, to before he goes back so they can stop.
Right.
Because we forgot the most important thing. Before that, right after Bones goes back in time, they lose contact with the Enterprise. Mm-hmm. And the arch is like...
says there's nothing wrong with the communicator, right? Is that what they say?
They're like, well, nothing wrong with the communicator. And then the arch basically explains... Your friend fucked up the past, and now your Federation does not exist.
That's right.
So that's why they have to go back to before Bones goes back.
Oh, and then...
Because Bones did some bullshit
that
erased the Federation. And that is fascinating. I look forward to getting to that.
That sounds like a spin-off episode.
Oh my God, there's so much like...
Bones just dicks around.
Well, he is
And then his timeline goes off.
Yeah, he's like Loki. He's a variant, like from the show Loki. There's a variant Bones out there that never recuperated from the drugs.
Yeah, and he just fucking takes over.
So they lose contact with the ship because it doesn't exist. Kirk and Spock are like, well, so the time loop is playing too fast for them to know exactly when to jump in. So they ask the arch if they can play it slower, and the arch is like, no. Can you slow it down? And the arch is like, hey, I'm programmed to play it this fast. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, that's like, how fast it is.
This is a time portal.
This is like a...
you get what you can get,
This is what you get. And he's like, I can replay it for you, though.
That's nice.
So then they jump through... but before they do, it's so fucking funny because Kirk tells Scotty, he's like, look, Scotty, you got to wait a little while. And if you've waited long enough and you think we probably didn't fix time, you got to go try and fix time.
Oh,
and then if you fuck it up, Uhura, you got to go try and fix time.
And
you can tell that like the red shirt at the end is like, I hope it does not get down to me.
Yeah, right.
There's some awesome remastered shots of the ship in here. But one thing I want to mention is this is not how time travel works, right? Because if Bones went back in time and erased the Federation, then they wouldn't be on the planet with the Arch. Because if the Enterprise didn't exist, how did they get there? It would just dissolve
away, like Back to the Future.
Yes, Back to the Future rules. But the Arch also might be preserving them, which I think they're in like a little time bubble.
Powerful enough.
So basically, they go back in time to before Bones goes back. Like they shoot for a week or a month. It ends up being a few days, like a week. They get to a rather barbaric time, as Spock says, and then we find out it's the Depression, and it's like, yes, it's quite barbaric,
pretty rough.
They stick out like a sore thumb, which is always a problem with Spock's ears.
Yes.
And they find Kirk sees some clothes hanging up on a fire escape that he can go steal, like He's a little thief.
Oh, cool, let's go get these. He just walks casually and recklessly into this person's fire escape apartment.
And steals these clothes. But before that, there's an awesome, like, Wes Anderson style zoom in on the clothes, to illustrate him seeing it. There's a couple more zoom ins later that are excellent.
They're hilarious.
They steal the clothes like buttholes, and Kirk is like, we'll steal from the rich and give back to the poor later. But they're stealing from the poor. Everybody's poor. It's the 1930s.
And there's like really good comedic timing, too, because as soon as he gets down, he's like, Spock, we're fine. And then they turn around and the cop's like, hey, what the hell?
There's a cop. And Kirk is like, so this, I want to mention this because Kirk, to explain to the cop what Spock's deal is.
Jeez.
He says that Spock is Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
And RE: his ears.
Yes.
He got his head stuck in an automated rice picker.
Oh.
And luckily, Kirk says, there was an American missionary available to save Spock.
Amazing surgery.
Kirk tells a white savior story to explain Spock's ears. And
he was so inspired. That's why he stays in the United States.
And Kirk says it's so simple for my Chinese friend Spock. But so basically, Spock says so they're gonna they run away from the cop. Spock says, you've got something on your shoulder.
Oh, no, that's right. They were getting arrested, and Kirk's like, hey, why is there... That's a stain on your uniform? Like, you go out like that? And the cop's like, what are you talking about? And Spock's like, what do you mean? It's right there. And then he pinches him.
Yes, for not having emotions or a sense of humor, Spock catches on to jokes pretty good.
He at this point, he meshes with Kirk. Like, come on. I mean, the Corbomite maneuver and all that shit. And like,
they're on the same page.
Yeah, they've done a lot of silly shit.
And they go and hide in a basement. And Spock has a funny line. He says, if I could tie my tricorder into the ship for a moment, I could use it to scan for images of Bones on the timeline because Kirk asked him to start recording.
Right.
So Spock's tricorder recorded the entire timeline of human history, and he can kind of scrub through it. And Kirk says, can you build a computer here? And Spock says, in this sink-plated vacuum tube culture... the look on, and then Kirk challenges him. He goes, "Oh yeah, well I guess sometimes I do expect too much of you. You probably can't do it." And the look on Spock's face when Kirk says "expect too much of you," so fucking great. And then they get found.
As a challenge.
Then they get found by the beautiful guest star. So let's see, who is this guest star? I did not pull up IMDb for this.
I don't have
episode.
I don't have the name of her either. I know the character name, Edith Keeler.
Yeah, so they find out that they're in the basement of a mission for like unhoused folks or people down on their luck during the pandemic, during the Depression. Same shit. We're on our way there now. The banks are collapsing. It's fine.
Let's see, Star Trek. Houses are expensive.
So she is the beautiful guest star that they only show in soft focus. They never have her close-ups are never sharp focus. They're always fuzzy to show how beautiful she is.
Hold on, wait, we almost got it.
That's fine. I'm going to explain the first thing she says to Kirk because Kirk says
Joan Collins.
Joan Collins. What else has she been in? Click on her name.
Dynasty. Oh, she's been in the Flintstones.
Joan Collins. She's famous as fuck, dude. She's like a super famous starlet. That's
wow.
That's
Empire
hilarious.
Of the Ants.
Yes, and she's done all kinds of genre stuff. She's great.
Okay. Yeah, no wonder. I mean, this episode's pretty stacked.
So Kirk says, I'm wearing this jacket because it was cold outside. And she goes, a lie is a funny way to say hello. I love that. And then basically she gives them a job doing stuff around the mission for 15 cents an hour.
Yeah.
For 10 hours a day so that Spock can buy radio equipment.
Isn't Spock a janitor, right?
I think that's what they said, yeah. They both end up being janitors and whatever they do.
Spock builds this weird contraption with a bunch of wires around that too.
We'll get to that. We find out what her whole deal is, though. When
that's right.
They go up to have dinner at the mission. They're having soup and bread. And even though it's the Depression, when I see people eating soup and bread, I get hungry for soup and bread. I'm a fucking asshole. So they're about to eat, and then Miss Keeler goes up to the piano up front, and the soup kitchen dudes are like, oh my God, you guys thought that you were just going to get to eat for free? This lady's got something to say first. We got to listen to her pitch. It's basically like, when you go to a timeshare place and they're like, sure, you can stay at this place in the Bahamas for the weekend, but you got to sit through a 2-hour timeshare presentation.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not, if sitcoms from the 80s and 90s have showed me anything. And so she gives this speech about how the reason she does this and helps these people, and the reason she thinks everybody should, is because someday humankind is going to get over all this income inequality bullshit, and they're going to stop spending money on war, and they're going to harness enough power that they can explore the stars. And
Kirk and Spock are
like, she's like light years. She must read sci-fi is basically what they say, which is funny because the episode was written by Harlan Ellison, who's like super famous sci-fi writer.
Yeah, of course.
Outer Limits, the 80s the 80s Twilight Zone. He worked on the Twilight Zone movie. He was a big sci-fi writer of like short stories and novels. But it's funny. It's just funny that basically the female guest star is like somebody that a sci-fi writer would find very hot.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's his manic pixie dream girl. That's his Ramona Flowers. That's his ideal woman, is like, she helps homeless people. And, she fucking reads comic books.
Dang, he's written a lot of stuff, too.
Yeah, dude, Harlan Ellison is like the shit. That's
Tales of the Dark Side, Twilight Zone.
And that's just his TV stuff.
Circle of Fear.
Basically...
The Flying Nun? What is that?
The Flying Nun is a Disney movie, I believe. So she's basically a futurist who, instead of being like a technological guru, manages a shelter or a mission. Kirk says he finds her most uncommon, and he has boner face when he does it. And that's when we get to, basically she says, hey, you can come crash at a room in the flop where I live for $2 a week. And then Kirk says, hey, Spock, we got a flop. And Spock says, a what? And he says, a place to sleep. And Spock says, well, you might have said so in the first place. It's like they're doing a vaudeville bit that would have been popular in the time where they are. And that's when we dissolve to like a few days later when Spock has the computer that Al was describing stretched out. Basically, it looks like...
it just has a bunch of wires, and it's like some makeshift like 60s horror thing.
Yeah, it looks like basically like a super elaborate ham radio setup with all the vacuum tubes. Like, it made me think like, I got to retube my amp for my guitar. And then Kirk comes in with groceries. Spock says, I need 6 pounds of platinum. Kirk says, you're a fucking idiot. I have bread and bologna, and I got you a light bulb.
This is the Depression.
So Spock says, in 3 weeks or a month, I could maybe make a mnemonic circuit using these stone knives and bear skins. And that's kind of what they come back to that a few times. Spock is sweeping up then when he sees some dudes working with fine tools. This is a hilarious sequence. He's like, I could use them tools to work on my radio project, my fucking shit. And so then it cuts to them, him breaking a combination lock. And then it cuts to the lady catching them immediately. Like, she comes down and she's like, you took those tools. And Spock is like,
nope.
In the process of throwing coal into the fire. Like, he's like, first off, you have him shoveling coal for 15 cents an hour. Maybe it's all right that he borrowed the tools. And he's like, I would have put the tools back tomorrow. Kirk is like, he said he would have put the tools back tomorrow. She lets him take the tools.
Yeah.
And she's like, as long as you walk me home, Kirk. And then so Kirk takes
he's like,
he has a walk home with her where he basically falls in love with her.
Yeah.
They look up at the moon and the stars. She says she wants to help them. He says somebody from outer space will write a novel in 100 years that's about being helpful like you just described. And then later that day, Spock gets his future TV fired up for a moment, and he finds out that Miss Keeling, the social worker, gets killed at some point. And then Kirk comes in, and Spock says, look, this is distressing news, but it says 6 days, it says, hold on, he pulls it up but now it's changed.
There's 2 outcomes.
Yes. So now they see 6 years from now, the newspaper where Miss Keeling works with the president, and then Spock's computer burns out. And basically Spock says there's a headline. One of the headlines is an obit. The other headline is where she dies in a traffic accident. The other headline is she is working with the president on a peace initiative.
But it does delay our involvement in World War II,
well,
right?
spoiler alert, we find that. I mean, you're probably seeing the episode if you're listening to this, but yes, that's
spoiler alert.
So we got to find out, basically,
but they're gradually revealing this. My bad.
Which outcome is the correct one? Like, because they don't know what was the outcome that leads to the Federation. You know.
True.
So it's either McCoy comes back in time and he either stops her from dying and saves the future, or he stops her from, she does die and then saves the future, or vice versa. The future's ruined either way. So
right, but he's in love with her and all that.
Kirk is also in love with her. It becomes a whole thing because the woman he loved might have to die, and then he cuts to a guy stealing milk. Because it's the Depression when you steal milk, and he's stealing milk, and then Bones appears out of nowhere, crazy as hell, screaming about assassins and murderers. He yells at the milk guy, "Don't run, I won't kill you," which is that's exactly what somebody that will kill you would say.
It's the perfect thing to say.
The guy who's got before the guy's about to drink milk, the milk he's stealing, the look on his face is so perfect. It's like, ooh, he's like, I'm so excited about this milk. And then a future man that's basically experienced a drug overdose jumps out of a portal, and Kirk's still falling in love, and Bones is like looking at the milk guy, and he's all high and paranoid, and he thinks that the milk guy is like a simulation. And he's like touching him, and like he puts his hand on his head, and he's like, excellent cranial development, modern museum perfection.
A lot of fish out of water humor.
Fucking love it, dude. I mean, he thinks that he's in a simulation.
And right, because his brain's going like 100 miles an hour.
He's got I want to read a quick little thing that he says. He goes, I'd give anything to see a hospital back at this time. Probably all needles and sutures. All the pain. You had to cut and sew people like garments. And then he cries and falls over, passed out. And this is when something wild happens. The milk thief takes a piece of technology out of Bones' pocket, like he's like looking for valuables. And then he presses a button and he disappears in a blue light. Not like he transported somewhere, just like he fucking exploded because he pressed the wrong wheel on a phaser or something. I don't know what it was. And then Bones shows up at the mission all fucked up. Kirk is like, I must know if she lives or dies. They haven't seen each other yet, Bones and Kirk and Spock. There's a really good bunch of like, they almost run into each other because they're both at the mission. Because she takes Bones in, of course, Miss Keeler, for the same reason she took Spock and Kirk in. She got a big heart. Yeah. And her and Bones, she basically sees Bones through his overdose. And then Kirk is like, we got to find out what happened. And then Spock does find out what happened.
He
gets his screen working. And also, we've been chatting for a while, so I want to kind of jump around a little bit because there's not a lot that happens that's super important. Except there's a great exchange between Bones and Miss Keeler where he's like, look, she's like, I don't believe that you serve on a ship as a doctor. And he's like, well, I don't believe you exist. I don't believe in you either.
I don't even know where I am right now.
And then later he says, I think this is all a cortisone hallucination, but you aren't. Like, he's like being sweet to her.
Yeah.
So Kirk and Spock find out that the reason history has changed is because for some reason, that lady, Miss Keeler, doesn't die. So she is supposed to die. And because she lives, she starts a peace movement that delays our entrance into World War II. And the Germans then make the bomb before us. They win and take over the world.
Oof.
Pretty fucked up messaging.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. They're basically saying, well, had there been peace people, it actually would have caused more war. It's a weird way to get to it.
It's kind of delaying it, yeah.
And so this whole time, Kirk is trying to figure out what does Bones have to do with her living, you know? And then while Kirk is still falling in love with this lady, they go on a date, or they're going to go on a date, and she like trips and almost falls down the stairs, and Kirk catches her.
Yeah.
And then she leaves, and Spock is like, what if you were supposed to let her fall and break her fucking neck? Like, you don't know how she dies.
So awkward.
Maybe Bones coming back made us go back, and we're the reason that the future is fucked up.
And it's also like it's a lot of self-doubt, and they're very paranoid about every step that they do because they are already in the past changing everything. So
exactly. And this is where the kind of it comes together right at in the final act here. So she's talking to Bones, who's feeling better. Bones is like, thank you for saving my life. And then she mentions that her sweetheart is taking her to see a Clark Gable film. And he's like, Clark Hubel?
Yeah,
like he has no idea. And she's like, how do you know what movies are, but you don't know who Clark Gable is? And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, well, I'll see you later, Mr. McCoy. Then she goes out to meet Kirk.
Right.
And they're crossing the street. And she goes, we can still make it in time for... One thing I do want to mention is when Spock and Kirk first land in the past, they cross the street and almost get hit by a car.
Yeah.
And then this is at the end. They've been back in time for a week or two. They know how streets work.
Yeah.
Kirk and Miss Keeler just walk out into the fucking street.
That's how it was.
Also, it's so funny that was Joan Crawford. She's incredibly famous. And so they get across the street, and she goes, we'll make it in time for the Clark Gable movie. And Kirk goes, who's Clark Gable? And she goes, that's so funny. Dr. McCoy said the same thing.
Yeah, right.
And fireworks go off in Kirk's head. Holy shit. He's like, he stops. He says, Dr. McCoy, where have you heard that name? And she goes, he's staying at the mission. Do you know him? And he goes, yes. And then Spock's on the other side of the street by the mission door. And he goes, Spock, Dr. McCoy's in the mission. And he runs across the street. And McCoy's coming out of the mission.
Yeah.
And you think that, like, McCoy's going to think they're a hallucination and try and fight him or something.
No.
But they all hug immediately. It's such a warm moment. Like, he's like, oh my God, I'm so happy to fucking see you guys. And they're all hugging. And then Miss Keeler
walks back.
She goes, hey, you guys all know each other? And she steps out into the street. And she's about to get hit by a car.
And McCoy's like, what?
McCoy's going to stop her. And then Kirk has to stop McCoy.
Yeah.
And McCoy's like, why are you stop? And then she gets hit and killed. And McCoy's like, you just stopped me. You just let her die. And he goes, no, I've saved everyone.
Yeah.
And then there's a crazy zoom in on Mrs. Keeler and Kirk right when she's about to get hit. And then that cuts to like a rad remastered space shot after the commercial break. So Bones and Kirk and the Vulcan, Spock, come back through the gate after correcting history. And Scotty's like, you only left a minute ago. Were you successful? And then the Arch is like, time has resumed its shape and many such journey is possible. Let me be your gateway. And instead of exploring time and space, Kirk's like, we're getting the hell out of here. Fuck this. Fuck this place.
Yeah, because before they even leave, Uhura asks, Captain, the Enterprise is up there. They ask us if we want to beam up. And he's like, beam up. Let's fucking
get us the hell out of here. Yes.
Please, please, please. It's just kind of, what is it? He's clearly traumatized, and he's not wanting to deal with it again. But
he just watched the love of his life. The love of
smashed
get
by
killed,
a
and
car.
He had to let her. Mm-hmm. Not only watching the love of your life.
No, they had
killed,
seconds. They had a couple seconds.
To let her.
Yeah,
and had to not only had to let her, but had to stop his friend from helping her.
Yeah.
So traumatic all around, and it really how it ends really shows that because they beam off the planet, and then it's just the credits come up with the music over the static shot of the Arch. And it's such
damn.
Usually they go back to the bridge and have a moment. But they just fucking fade into nothing.
I think the tone of what is it? The tone of someone just getting hit by a car, would be enough. And then they're just like, let's just end it there,
dude.
There's nothing else you can go from there.
There's so many good little bits in this episode. I just love DeForest Kelly's acting, and just when she fought, when
Joan
she
Collins?
trips, Joan Collins, yep. When she tripped and Kirk catches her and she's like, I could have broke my fucking neck. And then she's like, see you later. And she leaves and Spock is like, what if she was supposed to have broke her fucking neck? Love it. I think we covered everything. What do you think? Is there anything we missed?
No, not really. I mean, just the bunch of little tidbits is that everybody loves the writer. And all the strength that comes from this is really just the idea of the fish out of water and just the awkward lines that Kirk has with all that.
You got something from the compendium?
No, it's just it's just praising his script and all that.
Fantastic shit. I love all of the how it all. You can tell that the writing is airtight because of how the story comes back on itself. They have to go back in time to before the inciting incident of Bones going back in time so that they can stop the other. Usually there's an inciting incident, but they stack it. They change the timeline of how it happens. And yeah, it's just a good early ass time travel episode. And I really liked how just tweaked out Bones was. And
the effects were really good too.
The fact that Kirk had to make this choice, it was so good. Good stuff. Good job, everybody.
Well, yeah. What is it? They say Jerry Finnerman, the cinematographer, they use a lot of special lighting and focal techniques to give the city a visual quality.
Of the depression.
It's kind of yes.
It's a little sepia tone kind of.
Sort of, yeah.
It's not really.
And they cut a couple corners,
getting to that a little bit.
Yeah, they cut a couple corners, but it made sense,
Oh. And that's where, and I want to cover that moment at the end where Bones is like, you deliberately stopped me, Jim. I could have saved her. Do you know what you just did? And Spock says, he knows, Doctor.
He knows.
He fucking loved her, you clod. Of course he fucking knows what he did.
I mean, they go through a lot of highs and lows really quickly in these last couple of episodes.
I just fucking love it. The show's really hitting its stride. We're coming up on the end of season 1, and this was great. Good episode. Good one. So the one thing, though, I have for my recommendation today, it's kind of out of left field, but a few months ago, I really had a craving to watch that movie, The Raid. By Gareth Edwards that came out in the mid 2000, before 2010. And it's this Indonesian awesome kung fu movie.
Oh yeah, which one did you see? The first one or the second one?
Well, The Raid. So The Raid and then The Raid 2, right?
Right.
So, and I saw the original The Raid in a theater with with subtitles and shit when it first came out, and loved it. But I didn't have the DVD, and I didn't want to watch it with the English dub, right? And that's all they had on HBO Max, or that's all that was streaming. But then I was gifted Netflix because I'd probably never fucking pay for Netflix. Somebody gave it to me as a gift. Okay. And they have the raid in the original Indonesian with English sub. Mm-hmm. So I watched that this morning, and holy shit, is it great.
Awesome.
And you lose so much by going to the dub. Because the dude who plays Tama, the main villain, has so many inflections in his voice in the Indonesian. It's
Mad Dog's pretty dope too.
Yeah, they're all great. And then I watched. So I recommend watching The Raid Redemption in the original Indonesian with subtitles. And that got me thinking about all the anime I've been watching lately and how if I was watching it with a dub, I would be missing out on so much in terms of like, even if you don't understand
emotion,
the language.
Inflection.
The vocal inflection, the performances, they're amazing actors. They're like amazing voice actors that work a lot. You know, that like those anime voice actors, they work a fucking ton. They're pros. Like I want to hear their voice. And then I also watched the first half of The Raid 2, which is kind of a different thing.
It's
fun. It's more of a regular ass like mob movie kind of.
There's cool sequences.
It's like Donnie Brasco. Fights. He's undercover.
Yeah, that's true.
And there are good sequences, but it just takes a lot of time to get to the raiding element of it. Let's do the raid part. When I tried to watch it months ago, when I couldn't find it with the dub or with the sub, I was like, I'm just gonna watch Dread instead. It's basically the same thing.
Oh, I know.
They're in a high rise. All right, what about you? What do you want to recommend?
It's like kind of apocalyptic too.
Oh, Dread was fucking.
Of course, Dread is, but I'm talking about the Raid too. How you compare those two?
Yeah.
Let's see. What can I recommend this time? I mean, there's a couple of songs that came out, but I think what I'd recommend this time, I think I'm gonna check out Triple R.
RRR.
Yeah, and a lot of like, movies like that, like action with a lot of special effects behind it. And I think RRR is a good place to start.
Yeah, like watch a lot of big special effects movies that aren't like Marvel movies and shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty over that.
I love those movies. I'll watch all the new ones and stuff. But
did you hear? Oh, that's what I was gonna say. They're like anti-recommendations. The new Harry Potter series that's gonna isn't that insane?
I feel like it's not even gonna happen.
Right.
And
Maybe the backlash.
No way.
But also, I saw bits and pieces of the trailer for the Blue Beetle.
I think that looks good.
That looks nuts.
I think it looks really good, right?
Yeah.
Or do you think it doesn't look good? Were you gonna say it doesn't look good?
No, I wasn't gonna say it doesn't look good. I'm just saying like there's a lot now. There's a lot to cover now,
It's very Spider-Man.
For sure. It's Iron Man too. Because it just goes right into space.
Spider-Iron Man, yeah.
Spider-Iron Man.
But
we'll see how it ends up. It's a really good setup plot.
Speaking of big special effects,
that looks crazy.
Action movies with big special effects. I watched, I watched Indiana Jones 4, Crystal Skull. Because they have them all in 4K on Paramount Plus. And that sucked because it's not good.
The monkey scene, bro.
There's some pretty cool, like outside of the monkey scene, there's those guys getting eaten by the ants is cool.
Yeah, the ant.
There's some cool shit. But
they go to Machu Picchu.
And then I watched Last Crusade, which is like probably my favorite Indiana Jones, the one with Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I saw that in the theater when I was like 6 years old or whatever the shit.
The nostalgic trigger.
But that's a big action movie that fucking the special effects rule.
Speaking of effects too, though, actually, there's one last recommendation. Hook. I saw Hook for like the first time in a very long time. The sets are insane. Yeah. The sets are absolutely insane. Like Hook's ship, the interior with the two like skull eyes or whatever. And then the effects of Robin Williams just flying around, and you can see his shadow on the clouds, and then the Tinkerbell stuff.
I haven't watched
Insane.
Hook. I haven't watched Hook as an adult, I don't think.
It's a funny like premise just seeing it as an adult too, because it's like especially the beginning, how Robin Williams is like, I'm just having a nervous breakdown and I'm completely lost my mind, and it's like that. I would expect someone to think that way, as soon as all that, because clearly he is Peter Pan. It's I turned to my friend and I was like, this kind of reminds me of like the Matrix, and everyone's telling him he's the one, but he just doesn't believe it until like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, or like Bones, who thinks he's in a simulation when he's tripping on cortisone. Bringing it back.
Yeah. Anywho, good movie.
So yeah, lots of good stuff out there in the history of everything we've watched and listened to.
Just lately.
And
what's next week?
Next week's episode is, I just closed the window that would have that information. The next episode is no, we can't. We got this. The next episode is Operation Annihilate.
Oh, okay.
And it actually, I think Operation Annihilate. We might have been wrong. I might have been wrong on my timings or something. That might be the last episode.
No, really?
Maybe, yeah. So anyway, thanks for listening to Trek in the Valley.
Yeah, thank you.
Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. We have a Gmail, trekinthevalley@gmail.com. And listen to the bumper and follow us at our places that I put in the links in the description of the episode.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Trek in the Valley that we probably recorded before we named the podcast or really knew to like promote things. You can find out any information about our podcast by following me, Adam, at Adam Quesnell. It's not how you pronounce it, it's how I say it for your benefit. ADAMQUESNELL on Twitter, or at FAQRulesYou at Instagram. Follow. I promote the show. You'll know when and where you can get it on more platforms, so it's on your platform of choice. Thank you so much, and reach out on either of those platforms if you want to tell us anything about the show. Oh, also, I know that we're supposed to say this, like and subscribe, whatever that means. Thanks so much.